Hello friends, as you are aware that Professor Yogendra Singh passed away recently. He was definitely one of the tallest Indian sociologists, and not only he wrote some of the very important books, but also he established the Center for the Study of Social Systems in JNU. His books like Modernization of Indian Tradition, Ideology and Theory of Indian Sociology, Social Change in India, and similar other many other books and papers are known and famous worldwide. He not only taught in JNU, but he was a professor in McGill University and other places. I am basically a student who studied in the same center, got opportunity to interact with him, and I did my MA and MPhil from the same center which was groomed by him. As a teacher, he was a very reserved person, did not interact much with anyone rather, and but at the same time very helpful, kind hearted person who loved his students, who cared about other professors, everyone around. He carried himself very well, well dressed, very handsome man, and used to wear, in fact, very colorful shirts, and always very smiling person. He came from a rural background but from a landlord family. Therefore, he was aware about Indian reality. He himself has seen that, and at the same time, a caring for the people, particularly who came from the rural India. He understood their problems very well, and tried to groom them. As a class teacher, my memory goes like he was not taking any notes as other professors used to take. He used to take class for 1 hour or more, and he generally did not look at students, rather looking at space or towards the ceiling, and totally engrossed in his talk. His was the one of the few classes where students across other departments, like from other social sciences, used to attend the class to listen him. It was very interesting. His class was never monotonous, and he himself used to smile a lot, laugh out in between, totally engrossed. And in the hearty laugh, that was a very academic and deeply intellectual intercourse taking place in his mind. In fact, I would give one example. When he was teaching Marx and Hegel, he started saying that we only talk about ideas, but Marx, he speaks, it becomes, and so. This is basically, whose language is this, he said. Even the language he has taken from Hegel. So he used to tell so many things which are not, you don't find in books. And in the class, he did not like somebody asking questions in between the lecture. He would answer that, but he would say that it's better if you ask these questions, you keep it for the concluding session of the lecture, so that his thought process doesn't break in between. There were some instances when he was at the head of the department also. So some of the youngsters in MA, they started smoking in his class. He just ignored them, and even the girls were smoking. And subsequently, he mentioned that he did not like that, but he knew that these girls are finding freedom here. Let them enjoy the freedom. So he understood everything, the Indian reality, far deeply than others. As a guide, I got an opportunity. He was a guide for my term paper. And when though I was preparing for civil service, so not a very academician type of students, and he knew that, he understood that. He didn't ask about this, and he did not discourage also anyone from appearing for civil service instead of academics. But when I took many books to him from the library just to ask, sir, you are my guide here, which of the books I should read for this topic? Oh, he said, oh, these are you have brought so many books and scrap. He just looked into each of them and only selected one book out of that. He said, you can read this chapter of this book. And he then told me that these are the books you should read. But in between, he told me that what is more important is that you should learn how to write a term paper or a book, how the academician should write, what all care should be taken while writing. Then he gave me some books. He gave me the names of some of the books which I should read. And the presentation, nuances, the grammar, everything he said is very important. In fact, he was meticulous in that, in his own writings also. In his book Modernization of Indian Tradition, actually using very difficult language, and that was asked him why he has used such a very difficult words in that book. His response was that actually that time he was in McGill University and he was reading philosophy. So many difficult words had entered in his mind and entered that book also. But subsequently, he has used a very easier language also. That was very much emphasized by him. Very important thing about him is that he was a non-communist in an university known for the communists. Every important professor Romila Thapar, Professor Vipin Chandra, and almost everyone, Professor Namwar Singh, they all were communists. And that time only communists used to be recognized as intellectuals. But he was not associated with any type of ideology. he remained free from any ideological biases. He generally did not participate in discussions, talks in the campus, where in the hostels there were events were being held where professors used to participate, speak, but I never saw him coming there. So he was a purely academician. He used to speak only in a very academic oriented sociological congress and all that. And he there were people coming to meet him. He used to help everyone. People coming from rural areas of UP, they used to touch his feet. He just okay with that also. And often he used to speak English. There were some events when I was also with him. Once the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi invited the center for just a get together, tea party. The LG was Mr. Ramesh Bhandari, and he in the lawn while we were taking tea, he was surrounded by few people, and again Professor Yogendra Singh was also surrounded by students. He did not. He was very much happy with the students. He was not. He did not give any undue importance to politicians. He knew the dignity of the post, the respect he commands, how we should behave, how our center should behave, how our center should develop, what grooming it requires. So, Professor Singh, though he passed away, but he is going to remain a legend, a very, very fine human being. He is going to guide us. He is going to guide the generations to come, to tell them that how to move. He did not carry the burden of any ideology. That is the best part of it. And a very liberal person at outlook. There were some professors who used even in the class to criticize his approach. But he was a very magnanimous man. He never indulged in any type of bickerings, any type of criticism of very small nature. He remained a gentleman, a very, very great scholar, and a very, very kind human being. This is my homage to him. He is there with us. Thank you very much.